Hey guys, it's 4 p.m. on Thursday, May 28th. The market just closed about a minute ago, and it was a very odd day again in the market today. It was almost the opposite of what happened yesterday, and I'll explain what I mean by that. But just taking a look at the big board here, again, we see that a lot of stocks traded sideways. A lot of the tech stocks that were previously red early in the week are green, but barely green today. But just looking at this one picture doesn't tell you the complete story. So let's take a look at my AMD stock. And you can see when I say it was the opposite of yesterday the stock opened up in the green, dipped down into the red during the middle of the day, and then came back up during market close and closed in the green. Well, it's almost as if someone took that graph and flipped it upside down for today, because AMD opened in the red, then came up and traded in the green for almost the entire day. And then of course at 3:15 p.m. during power hour, when the whole market seems to like to sell off, I mean, it just got crushed really hard. And this was kind of playing with my emotions in terms of a roller coaster, because yesterday I was in the sub $52 range, which means my puts were going to get assigned, because if you remember, I have $50 and $52 strike puts on AMD that are expiring tomorrow. But then when we were trading green all day long, and a lot of the stocks, the QQQ, the SPY, they were all in the green all day long. So I was really happy because AMD was trading in the $53 range, which meant that I had a good buffer, a $1.50 buffer, and so that all of my contracts would expire worthless tomorrow. But then power hour came and everything just started selling off. And as you can see, AMD went from $52.93 at 3:15 p.m. to $51.73 at close at 4 p.m. So AMD dropped from being out of the money for me at the $52 strike price to being in the money. So I really need a rally of just a couple cents. I mean, 25 cents would be great for tomorrow, but I think we'll get there, and I think AMD will close above $52 tomorrow end of day, and I think my $50 and $52 puts will be safe and I won't get assigned shares. Although, like I said many times, I'm not scared of getting assigned AMD shares, because I think in the future their outlook is very good, so I'm confident that the stock price will come back up. But the other kind of nice thing is let's say AMD goes up to 52, 53 tomorrow and closes there. Well, that's a good setup for the following week, because then I can hopefully sell more puts on AMD at an even lower strike price, so maybe the $48 or $49 strike price next week, and collect good premium. So if we just take a look at the 1 week chart again, so you can see AMD was trading in the 54, 55s, right? And then it really took a hard hit. Then it came back up now slowly. But when I first sold those puts this past Tuesday, AMD was trading in the $54, $55 range, which meant that I had to get in at higher strike values for me to collect a decent profit. But like I said, if AMD is now in the low 50s, then hopefully Monday I can get in at 48, 49, maybe even $47 strike prices. And again, that way, if I am assigned shares, I'm assigned at a lower cost basis. And that again goes into, if you watch my previous video from yesterday, how I can play a slow recession, because I can keep getting in potentially at a smaller stock price and then collect premium along the way down. And then if I do get assigned shares, either sell them off as quickly as I can for a profit, or I can try and ride the wave back up and collect premiums along the way if I think we've already hit the bottom and now we're back in a bull market. So that was kind of my emotions for all of today. I was really happy all day long and pretty confident, and then 3 p.m. hit Eastern time, and I mean, like I said, the whole market went down. So I'm fairly confident that we'll either open up where we opened today, or closed yesterday, I should say, or even in the green. And I think we'll end up in the green end of day tomorrow, because I think there's this big sell-off at the end of the day, and I think the tech stocks will rebound, especially AMD. And so I'm pretty confident that my puts, all 5 of my contracts, will be secure, and I will just collect my $200 in premium for this week and not get assigned any shares. So again, if we take a look at the Fibonacci levels for AMD, I don't think I've shown you this in a while, but so when we had the big dip earlier in the week, we broke through the 78.6% Fibonacci level, which is here, roughly at $54.50. And then actually yesterday, we broke through the 61.8% Fibonacci level as well, which was the $50.80 mark roughly. But as you can see, it didn't like that, and it immediately came back up today. And then we've been trading in this blue region, right? So we closed at 51.73. The support level at the 61.8 Fibonacci level is $50.77. So again, I think it would take a lot for my $50 puts to be assigned, but I'm now fighting for my $52 puts to not get assigned. You can see something similar happened back on May 1st, where it dipped below to around $49 and then it came right back up the next day. Same thing happened earlier this week as well. Yesterday dipped down and then came back right up today. So hopefully tomorrow we'll trade a little bit higher in this blue region, higher than $52. And if you look at the RSI curve, we're also close to the oversold territory. So that kind of tells me that in terms of technical analysis, we're a little bit low on the price and we should be having a rebound tomorrow. And you can see it's below this yellow line, which is the moving average. So we're below the moving average. So all three of these signs kind of point to the stock going up in price just based on technical analysis. It's really the tech stocks this week that have been kind of getting hit hard. And like I stated in my previous video, I think that may have been due to a rebalancing of people's portfolio where they're cashing out gains in their tech stocks and then putting that money into other sectors that were hit pretty hard and trying to get in at a low price so they can ride those stocks back up. But if we take a look at the Russell 2000 ETF IWM, we can see almost the opposite happening, where IWM has kind of been taking off lately. And at the 61.8% Fibonacci level, it broke through yesterday, which was at a price of about 141, and it closed today just below that level at 139. So that tells me that IWM right now doesn't like trading in this dark blue area. It hasn't really proven that it can break through the 61.8% Fibonacci level. So if you have IWM option or stock, and again, this is just based on my opinion and my technical analysis, IWM looks like it wants to trade right now in this dark green region, which is between the 50% and the 61.8% Fibonacci levels. So that's going to be between prices of roughly 132.83, let's say, and 141. So if you have puts or options expiring in those strikes, you might want to determine if you want to close those positions early depending on what your positions are and how you're doing so far. But IWM, if you look at it, it also looks like it's almost getting to the oversold territory where the RSI is pretty low and it just closed below the moving average, which is seen by the yellow line. So this is similar to my AMD position, where it seems like this whole sell-off at the last hour kind of was overdone. And so hopefully we'll open back up in the green in general across the market tomorrow and stay in the green. The other stock that, if you watch my videos from this past weekend, I was thinking about playing was Micron. And right now I'm kind of regretting it, because I don't know if you saw the stock yesterday, but Micron just popped yesterday. It went from $44 a share all the way up to $49 per share. I think off some good news. I have to look into it to see what the good news was, but it took off in the middle of the day. And if I had sold some puts, I would have probably been pretty secure. However, if you look at it, it kind of traced back all of its gains by closing low today. So it traced back from $49 and some change to close at $46. So, it broke through, and you thought it was going to trade in this dark green region. But unfortunately, we didn't get confirmation today because it didn't stay in that region. It looks like it wants to come back into this olive green area. So it'll be really interesting to see what Micron does tomorrow. But I think I was planning on selling $42 puts. So either way, it looks like I would have been secure if I had made that trade, because I don't think Micron is going to go from 46 to 42 in a day and drop from, essentially 7 points in 2 days. I think that would be pretty drastic. But Micron's a little bit of a volatile stock, so we'll see. Like I said, I didn't make any plays on it this week, but it's on my watch list, so we'll see what happens. And then let's take a look at Chuy, because I was thinking about making a play on that this weekend as well. And so Chuy, it looks like it kind of took off today because it tested the 38.2% Fibonacci level, and it didn't like that, so it came back up. And now it's bouncing off the 23.6% Fibonacci level. So we'll see. It looks like it wants to trade in this kind of green region because it looks like it tried to break through to the red Fibonacci level between the 23.6% and 0% levels, but it didn't like that and came back down. And it looks like it tried to do that again today. So I think tomorrow will be key to see if it's going to bounce up and stay in this red area or come back down and trade in this green area. It looks like from the past few days it likes trading in this green area, so we'll see what happens. And the other thing is, these are Chuy's all-time highs. So right now, if it trades in the red area, it's pretty close to all-time high or breaking even higher. So that's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. But Chuy, unlike the other stocks, look, it's closer to being overbought than oversold. So that tells me that it probably wants to trade between roughly $38 and roughly 41 and some change. But we'll see what happens. This is just technical analysis, and you have to keep in mind that nothing is written in stone. This is all just kind of theory and a hypothesis. And the last stock that we like to look at recently was Space. Space didn't do much in the past day or two. It just kind of traded sideways, and it closed again around the mid $16. It was up to around 17-ish for a little bit of the day, and then it closed there. It hasn't really been too volatile lately. I thought it would be more volatile just because of the SpaceX launch, and they're kind of the same industry. But now that the launch has been delayed to this weekend, I'm assuming that tomorrow it's also going to just trade sideways as well. But come Monday, we might have a big gap up or gap down depending on if the SpaceX launch goes well or poorly. I mean, I hope it goes well. But that'll be something to keep an eye on. That will be a little bit interesting. And that's about it that I wanted to talk about. These are the 4 stocks that were on my watch list from this past weekend. But as you know, I only made plays on AMD by selling puts at the $50 and $52 strike prices. And I think I'll be secure in not getting assigned shares, because I think this last hour, sell-off, it happens every single day. It's interesting because it almost happens so routinely that it might be smarter to just buy stock or buy options at the end of the day, and then if the market opens up green, just sell them off immediately the following day. Just food for thought. I mean, you're not going to make a lot of money unless you have a lot of shares of stock, because the price differentials are only like $1 or maybe even 50 cents. So for you to make a significant amount of money, you're going to have to invest a lot of money into it and buy a lot of shares to make that, 50 cent or $1 in stock differential worth it. But just food for thought, because it's been happening every day almost. If you look at the stock market, that within the last hour, sometimes within the last 45 minutes or 30 minutes or even 15 minutes, there's just a massive sell-off, I guess, from people taking profits from their gains for that day or whatever. But it's been happening very routinely, and it's just something to keep an eye on because it might open it up to new strategies to play. But that's about it. If you have any questions or comment, as always, leave them below. Let me know how your options are doing. We have one more day left in the trading week. And as always, happy trading.